Okay, so I wanted to talk today to you guys about how to ride a lazy horse. I know a lot of you struggle with feeling like you're working hard and your horse doesn't move forward, and it's a challenge that a lot of us riders face. I wanted to preface this by saying that horses aren't naturally lazy. Because horses are prey animals, they need to run away from predators. So it's not natural for them to be lazy. They're never going to be standing there like, oh, I see a lion, but I'm too tired to run away. So horses that are lazy or dull to our aids, that's a very man-made thing. It's something that when we are training a young horse and we are afraid, we all have some level of fear, and we're trying to get control of the horse, that we basically make our horses lazy and we make them dull. And so when you're trying to make your horse alive and sensitive again, a couple things. One is that you have to really make sure that you've kind of conquered your fear of moving and that you're not afraid to ride what's on the other side of after you kick them, because when you really get after them and try to wake them up, they may run off, they may buck a little, and you need to be willing to go with that and kind of reward them. And then also that you're just really clear and consistent. So as you're changing the rules a little bit, because you've made your horse lazy, so as you're changing the rules, your horse is going to, go through a little bit of resentment, and it's going to take them some time to get used to the new way of going. Be sure to sign up for my Facebook group, Amelia's Dressage Club, and also check out the links below. Sign up for my email list, and there's a lot of other cool things down there for you guys to check out. So I'm going to give you a few little tips on how to ride a lazy horse and how to get your horse a little bit more sensitive, which is, in general, horses are very sensitive. They can feel a fly on their back, so there's no reason that you should have to be kicking and spurring constantly just to get them to go. So the first thing is how you use your legs. So with a lazy horse, you want to actually take your leg off more, which a lot of people, when they're riding a lazy horse, they're squeezing and kicking and their leg is constantly on. But what happens is that if your leg is constantly on the horse, like if you're constantly squeezing, the horse basically just thinks that your leg is a part of the saddle. So a constant pressure like this pressure of the saddle or the girth, the horse just learns to ignore. So it's really important that your leg pressure is intermittent, that it comes off and then it goes on and then it comes off again. So what I do here is if I want my horse to walk forward, the first thing I do is I close my calf. If she doesn't listen to that, I give her a quick little kick. Good girl. And then I pet her. And you could see there, she gave me a little attitude when I kicked her and she kind of swished her head. But it's really important just to reward your horse for reacting. So that's a really good place to start, is just with some simple transitions. So simply just at the halt, close your leg, good girl. And that time she went much more willingly forward. You could see when I closed my calf, she right away was walking forward. So it's really important how you use your leg. So you always close your calf first, then take your leg away, give your horse a kick, and take your leg away again. It's really important that your leg has to come off in order to be able to kick your horse. So if your leg is already squeezing on your horse, there's no way to kick your horse. So if you're going to close your calf, take your leg off, kick, take your leg off again. That's how you should kick your horse. It's also super important that when you do kick your horse, that the kick is from your waist down. So a lot of times I see people that they kick and they grab and lean forward. So you don't ever want to kick and grab and lean forward, because that's the equivalent of putting your foot on the brake and the gas at the same time, and you'd never do that when you're driving. So let's go up to the trot. So when I ask my horse to trot, again, I always start with that nice soft aid of closing my calf. If she doesn't go, I give her a little kick. And then when she goes, I reward her. So if you have a horse that's lazy, And a horse that, like this horse, she wants me to kick every stride. What I really try to do is I try to think of like cruise control. So, you know, in your car, if you set your car to like 60 miles an hour, your car just stays at 60 miles an hour till you hit the brakes. So I want her to just stay trotting there. She tried to slow down. So I want her to trot the same tempo without me having to ask her to go every stride. So I just want to feel this tempo, and when I feel her start to slow down, like here, I give her a little kick, I speed her up like 3 miles an hour faster, and then I leave her alone again. The other thing that I do with lazy horses is lots of transitions. So the more that you just go around and around, the lazier the horse gets. But the more transitions you do, good, the hotter they get. Because every time you ride a transition, you teach your horse, one is to react to your aid. You have an opportunity to make your horse go faster, and then you also have an opportunity to leave them alone. So it's really important that you're passive in the walk. Close your leg, kick, good girl, and reward. So even if your horse canters off and you only wanted trot, it's really important to reward. And then now at the trot, I'm saying, you know, I'm not gonna kick you every step. Like so there, when she starts slowing down, I give her a kick, speed her up 3 miles an hour, and then leave her alone again. In the downward transition, I want her to stay stepping forward and through. Close my leg. Now go. Good girl. Good girl. And again, it's normal, you know, your horse might go even faster than you want them to, and that's totally okay. You know, I let her canter a few strides, and then I just let her come back to this trot. Good girl. Good girl. So same thing for the trot canter trot transitions. I want to just have a nice forward trot where I'm not supporting her. Okay, keep going. You're gonna sit. Good girl. And then leg off. No. And if she tries to quit, I'm gonna kick her and take my leg off again. No. Good girl. She's very used to people kicking her all the time to get her to go, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make her go, and then I'm going to leave her alone. Good. Good. And forward to trot. Good girl. It's really important too that your downward transitions always stay stepping forward and through, so that the horse always maintains that forward energy also in the downward transition. Good girl. And you can see here, like I'm always trying to say, hey, take my leg off. I'm going to really take my lower leg off. She's got to stay cantering. If she doesn't, I give her a kick and then I take my leg off again. So the second I feel her slow down, I don't want it, I kick my leg away again. Now forward to trot. Good girl. And then put my leg on. Canter, good girl. But it's super, super important with a lazy horse like this. Legs off, but when you do kick, your hands cannot change. So my hands are really passive at the moment I kick. My hips stay following. Basically the kick is just from the waist down. Good girl. So now she's definitely going much more forward from all of those transitions that I've done with her. Good girl. But definitely, you know, when you start waking up your lazy horse, you're gonna get some exciting moments. Like they're gonna buck and run off and get a little spooky and a little jumpy with you, and that's why they've gotten lazy, is because you've shut them down every time they've gotten, you know, a little hot or a little spooky and you got scared. You've told them not to go. So that's why we get lazy horses. They're not naturally lazy creatures, but we make them lazy because we're afraid of them bolting or bucking or running off or jumping around with us. Okay, the end.